Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw that the market stabilized around the previous close of 33.75, and then we saw a upside breakout in the overnight session. And at this point, heading into the open, we know that on the smaller time frame, the buyers are dominant in control, and the overnight session bias is bullish. The overall trade plan for today is similar to yesterday in the sense that heading into the open, we know that the buy side is dominant. The other markets are continuing to show strength, and if off the open we continue to see signs supporting the idea of buyers being dominant, then our focus can be on the long side above 37 to 39, and then on the upside, the main inflection point is going to be 47 to 49 quarter. We have some minor resistance along the way at 42.5 to 43.5, but the main resistance area on the day is 47 to 49 quarter. And if we can take that area out on broad market strength, the other markets continuing to show strength as well, and some decent and sustained upside momentum, then we can quite easily run into 53 quarter to 56 quarter, and there's even potential to go higher into the 59 HVN and test 60 to 62. At that point, we could see sellers starting to step back in around 60.62, last week's high at 63 quarter. And the market would also be hitting a range extreme heading into last week's high. So that's a higher probability area for sellers to step in. Now, if the market is indeed going to head higher today and continue the trend that we've seen in the overnight session, then ideally you want to see the market holding above 37 to 39, which marks the breakout area from the overnight session. Below that, we have 33.75 to 34.75, which marks the previous close as well as the launching point of the short-term directional move from the overnight session. So ideally, we hold above 37.39 if buyers are to remain dominant, but technically, even if 33.75 to 34.75 holds, there's still potential for a test of the 42.5 to 43.5 and 47 to 49 quarter. The final area of support is 30 quarter to 32 quarter. The market simply returning back down to 30 quarter, 32 quarter would signal short-term weakness on the smaller time frame, so we have to be cautious at 30 quarter, 32 quarter. Because if we're heading down on broad market weakness and some decent and sustained downside momentum, then although it is a valid area of support, if the range of the day is still quite narrow and we're seeing a lot of intraday weakness, then that range expansion can take place on the downside. And we can then go down into Monday's low of 28.75, the open gap at 27.5, and even 22.75 to 24.75. So off the open, we are going to give more weight to the long side as long as buyers can hold ES above 37 to 39, and we are going to be a bit more cautious on the short side, at least at 42.5 to 43.5, and then heading into 47 to 49 quarter if the market is shaping up to be a directional type day and we're seeing some decent upside momentum and the other markets are heading higher as well, then we know that the overnight trend is already pointing to the upside. And although we might get some pause at 47 to 49 quarter, as long as there is enough momentum behind the move and as long as we have that broader market strength with the AD trending higher as well, there is potential to take that zone out and test 53 quarter to 56 quarter. Perhaps sellers step in there. If the market's exhausted into it, it is a valid area of resistance. And beyond that, we have the HVN at 59 and then some better resistance at 60 to 62 and 63 quarter. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Our short-term bias is going to continue to be neutral. We are going to have to continue to be nimble on the day time frame, simply because the market is still technically stuck in a range. But if we continue to see strength off the open, we're holding above 37.39, then we know that there is already a upside move in play from the overnight session, and that can resume and continue into 47 to 49 quarter and possibly beyond. And then on the downside, we'd have to see broad market weakness and sustained downside momentum in order for the market to put in a balanced breakdown below 30 quarter to 32 quarter. So those are the main thoughts heading into the open. Let's see if the buy side can maintain the control that we've seen here in the overnight session on the smaller time frame, and hold above 37.39, and we'll take it from there.